Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hopefully we will all gather and hopefully going to hit that like button. So let me play something, something, I guess, exciting. And we're going to start right after that. So let's do this. Hello everybody. Is everybody doing okay? How is everything going, guys? Is this kind of like imprisonment getting to you? I really have to say it's starting to get to me, and it's really hard. I mean, shopping was never fun for me, and now it's even way less fun. I don't know how it is where you guys are, but we sometimes need to wait good amount of time, and I'm talking about here almost an hour to get in a store. And I live alone, and I don't need to buy so many things, so this seems to be really, really, really hard on me. And look at that! I did just find the thing for my dear Barbie, so I can send her the timestamps. So how is this affecting you guys? Hi, Knitting Yogi. Hi, Chris. And oh, you cannot join us today. So taking Yin Yoga teacher training online. Wow, this is amazing. So Knitting Yogi was so nice at one point when I wanted to have maybe support group, which nobody was interested in, offer that she can do some kind of like stuff. So you never know, somewhere in the future we might bug her to do that for us. And Chris, he's in a group fighting to open their country. I don't know. Like, I mean, do you really want to get disease? Like, it's on one hand, it's, yeah, I know what you mean. Because on one hand, I don't want to be closed. On the other hand, I don't want to get a disease because it's freaking nasty. If you're under 50, you can get a stroke. Like, literally, there's like no fighting with it. My dad was hospitalized with some heart issues, and they perform angioplasty. This is when they insert basically the stuff, the balloon in his arteries to kind of like clean the stuff. So hey, he's fixed for the next couple of years. But I have to tell you, I was not allowed to visit him, and I would just come down to the lobby and they would inspect all of the stuff. Then they actually waited like I don't know how many hours, and they put it in decompression or decontamination chamber. I don't know, it's something like that. It sounds like so sci-fi. And only then he got it, his freaking underwear. So I have to tell you, even though I was wearing a mask and gloves going to the hospital, I was feeling very uneasy. And I believe I probably am slight hypochondriac because I was coughing all the way driving back home to Toronto. So that was not fun. So Barbie, good morning. You know, Chris, I really don't know. I'm literally really, Chris is saying our numbers don't justify the shutdown. You're saying county, not country. And yeah, that's exactly like, I mean, where like my train of thought is. Like whenever I go somewhere, like I'm in a closed area, I'm very nervous because that's where you get it. It's really spreading in a closed area. But you know, if you even sit on a park bench, here they just hand you out $880 ticket. So you really can't. It is really crazy. I'm so tired of walking and walking and walking and clueless. You have to keep this distance, and I do understand. But on the other hand, when I look, for example, in Toronto or in Ontario, I don't know if we have really a complete thing for Toronto here. I don't know if CBS is here. She's not here yet. I think in Ontario we have 1,000 that died, which is a lot, but 80% of these people are in nursery homes. It's just like awful, something happening. So instead of government really honing in on that and trying to see why is this problem occurring and what kind of conditions are there that this is really spreading like wildfire, they're keeping 6 million people in Toronto locked. So think about it, 200 people are only out there in the entire Toronto. Wouldn't that be better to kind of like isolate that people? I don't know. It's like now 7 weeks and like literally cabin fever is kicking in, so that's really not fun. So you didn't have to wait to get in the store much, Creative Girl says, only really once. Oh my gosh, like when did I go last week? I went shopping and it was hour and 15 minutes. Hey, hour and 15 minutes to get in. That's not the worst part. Yes, I guess it is the worst part. The longest wait. And then you get in. Shopping is done really quickly because we have these regulations. I think only 50 people in the big stores or 10 in the smaller stores. But then you have to wait another 45 minutes to get your stuff cashed out. So 2 hours waiting, I was like just exhausted. Totally, like this really feels like those long lines in Russia. So it is really, really crazy, right? So I don't know. You know, I'm really out of these people who feel that we need to really protect it. But just as the Chris says, kind of, come on, like, is this really supporting this? But is there something else? I mean, Sweden model is not working either because they are getting ridiculous amount of infection. Another comparison is Croatia, where my brother lives, and they have been shut down because it's a poor country, and so they just couldn't play with this. They just like shut everything down. It was strict, including the curfew at 8 p.m. And guess what? They practically, I think they had 30 dead or something. So, like, I mean, it's like 4 or 5 million people, which is half of Ontario. So if we double is 60, like, I mean, compared to 1,000 that we have, and we have strict measures. So they did something probably right. So what is this? We don't have that many people today, and that's okay. That's fine. Creative Guru says, God heavens, I just went to park last night, no problem. Our area doesn't have to be shut down either. It's ridiculous. I don't even wear a mask. It gives me a panic attack. Well, to me, it gives me panic attack that I might get this thing. Because, hey, you're on the tube. And this is not the worst part. Even if you survive, this is not the worst part. The worst part is, like, you'll be sick for so many years. And it's kind of like causing a whole bunch of other stuff, like a kidney failure. They have to cut your leg off. It's just like, Jesus Christ, like they really don't know what's going on with this virus. So it is absolutely crazy. So I would suggest wearing a mask outside. I really would. Not necessarily for walking in a park. That's kind of crazy. I see that. To me, the most ridiculous are the people who are driving a car and they have a mask in a car. You're already protected in a car. You don't need to wear a mask, because I don't know about you, but I sweat like crazy. Anyway, I ordered on Etsy the fabric one. Hopefully it's going to be more breathable, but then if it's more breathable, then it's less ability to kind of protect yourself. And I have a couple of those N95 masks, so we'll see. So, okay, guys. Let's see, what do we do here? So, happy birthday, Taurus. I guess it is like one of the signs that kind of like really have your own birthday screwed up. So let's start with you and see where this basically takes us. I'm just using the regular radiant rider white kind of like a thing, so hopefully, you know, we can see what kind of comes out of it. So let's start. Taurus for this upcoming week. Taurus for the upcoming week. Barbie's here. Good morning, Barbie. Good morning. Okay, so Taurus. Well, I don't know if it's fear. You think, Chris, it's fear? Panic and fear are not exactly the same. They're very kind of close cousins. And to some extent, you know, sure, I really don't want somebody right now breathing in my face. And it just goes to show how impotent we are in front of the little tiny virus. If just they would test us more, so at least I know it's kind of like done, but they are saying that most of us are still going to get it. It's just like we are going to flatten the curve, so they'll be able to heal us. I don't want to be on a ventilator. So, let's see, Taurus. What the heck? You have the Hanged Man. There is a 7 of Swords, and it's followed with 6 of Swords. I think there is like, guys, something that is happening over here, that something is blindsiding you. Oh, I didn't remove the text over there. I should remove this text. There we go. And it is still crooked. And let's try to see. Oh, look at that. I'm actually able on this to see the changes. That's freaking amazing. So YouTube finally took them 2 years to improve this. Usually this is painful for me to be able to do it. I'm impressed. Look at that. YouTube is actually doing something. So, Taurus. The Hangman is always that card of basically self-suffering. It's a Jesus card, if you wish. It's a God's card. And it's really talking about relinquishing your own control, relinquishing your own desire to control things, and just saying, look, you know, I'm going to do it as you tell me to do. I want to get your own perspective, kind of a thing, right? But when this reverses, it's just basically saying that somebody is doing the talk, but they're not doing the walk for one reason or another, right? And this is usually not a good situation. You can actually easily escape if there is like some situation where you feel stuck for one reason or another. But somebody's going to be somebody will feel betrayed as a result, and that's why you're getting the Seven of Swords. They're going to feel that they expect a little bit more of you, that they expect that you give a little bit more, right? And that's why also there is like the Six of Swords, kind of like, okay, moving on. I really don't care, because look at this. There are troubled waters and then calm waters over here. There is like not everything that is resolved. It's kind of like taking a step back. I also feel there is like, I mean, a sense of transitioning. Maybe you're moving away from people. Maybe this is you looking at the other people who should be doing some sacrifices, who you're expected that they will either have a paradigm shift or they're going to see things from your own perspective, and they haven't. And you're like thinking like, why is this happening? So it could be that in the entire week you go from light to dark and then to light again. So light, really short light maybe this weekend, and then dark. And that's possibly what we are doing now. I don't know if you guys did it. It was the full moon in Scorpio. This is basically where we need to kind of like let go of control, or let go of, you know, like our expectations. So there is like this transitioning that this kind of like full moon phase is still going to affect you. So if Taurus, you haven't done my full moon meditation, just go on my community page. I posted it there. Just do it. It's still okay. We are still going through plus minus 2 days. You're still basically there, because this is really telling me there is like this motion forward. 6 is really good. 6 is a grounded number, and it's a number that kind of like it's very supportive. So you will give support, you'll receive support, right? This is like somebody completely unexpected happening. Not everything will be resolved, or Rome was not built in a day, as they say, but things are actually going to start moving forward. It's going to be one of those weeks where you're going to feel like really weird. You're going to feel like each and every time you kind of like start holding that wheel and the reins on something, that it just kind of slips and slips and slips. It's almost like you have greasy hands or something. And like you have fixed signs. The control is something that comes natural. You have to do it in order to keep your stuff together, but it's going to be really, really hard. And look at this, love and fidelity. Oh my goodness, can this get any better? So there is a love, there is fidelity, and there is marriage. I'm wondering, guys, if you're kind of going through the situation that any of these is kind of like really some expectation. Maybe you're going to change your mind on this. Maybe somebody else who was hesitant or did not really want to go in this direction with you is now going to start seeing it really differently. And you might, on the other hand, think to yourself, well, you know, why did you really need to think about that? Why is this why is this becoming like such an emotional, such a exercise, intellectual exercise? This is supposed to be emotional exercise, not like, hey, you know, are we good on the paper or something like that? Because there's like this big shift over here. Like they're like, certainly, I mean, this can mean literal. There's like something happening. There's like some kind of like admission of some sort, and you're not taking like shortcuts. Nobody is really taking shortcuts this week. Certain things need to move on. Certain things need to move forward, right? So it is, something is moving forward for you. We are going into Venus retrograde on the 13th, and once when we enter, anything new in terms of relationships and partnership is not the best thing. It almost like feels like you fall in love with somebody's picture, and then you meet them and they're not who they say they are. And the weirdest part that happens between a retrograde is that you still think they are who they said to you, because you have this wool over your eyes, and everybody else telling you like, no, 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 this is not the way it is. and then you're not able to comprehend that you have been basically, swindled. So be very careful with the information that you're getting, because somebody might be kind of trying to really quickly kind of like seal some kind of deal, if you wish, including like proposals or something like that. But there's like also essence that certain things need to be resolved before you move forward. Well, also, you know what? Just on the practical side, don't create engagement around your birthdays. Like, I mean, this is your time. Why don't you pick some different month or something? Or don't also do it around Valentine's. You're going to spoil it for the rest of your life. Why to have what do you call it? Like two in one? Right? Like, no, don't do it, right? So just kind of like create completely something different. So let's do it. So Mel, we have lost a great artist. Oh, little Richard has died. Oh, out of probably old age, right? Not coronavirus still. Yeah, it's still always sad, like people who we kind of like cherished and appreciated, that kind of like keeps happening. So I know. All right, Taurus. Let's do Gemini next. Gemini. So, Gemini. Oops. Oh, you have a Two of Cups. Gemini. And then we have the Star reversed. Are you guys like messing with the air sign? What is this? What is this? Like they're saying like, whoa, you cannot date. This is so weird. Dating in pandemic times. Like, I mean, these are two signs in the road that I'm seeing something is happening. The relationships, there's like some issue of a marriage. Somebody might be proposing, and it's kind of like really weird. Like, it's a very similar than what I saw in Taurus reading. There's like something kind of gelling. There's like something going properly, but it's almost like some interference that happens. Like you're talking to somebody, you have a clear line, and all of a sudden you're going hello, hello, hello. You see nothing, or you can hear them going hello, 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 right? And this is also the Hierophant, so this can also represent the Taurus transition, and it is like really something that will be happening until the 21st, 22nd this month, right? So also what I'm seeing here is like it's going to be all about relationships. It's all going to be all about what works for you, what doesn't work for you. It almost looks like you know yourself very well. You are not kind of like losing your head in clouds. Like there is like clearly emotional component over here. The Star card, when it reverses, is not a best thing. It means there's something that is hopeless. But this literally could mean I'm hopelessly in love with you. Kind of like literally can mean that, right? And hence, the only kind of like good progress would be let's make it official kind of a thing. It's just kind of like really weird. I'm almost like not picking up Gemini vibes here. I'm picking up very earthy, very, very kind of like survival kind of a thing. So let me check the Star over here. What is this all about here with the Star? The Star. Ooh, look at this. Death reversed. This one wanted to come out. And jealousy. Well, that really tells me that maybe you have been in a relationship that has challenges. Maybe it always feels that you are not on a firm ground. Maybe it always feels that maybe you're accused of that. You're Gemini. You're always the devil's advocate. Like, I mean, like people go left, you go right. And eventually this becomes tiring. Or it could be vice versa. So look at this. There's like this dude here looming in the background. And I'm asking for clarification of this Star because it's just saying something needs to stop. Whether this is a jealousy or there is like, keeping up with the Joneses of some sort, right? There is like something that somebody really, really wants. So I don't know if you guys dealing with the Leo or Aquarius over here, possibly also with Scorpio, but I'm seeing there is like certain level of fixedness, meaning somebody is really not budging, and it's kind of like really weird that certain things are really going to be done according to the person who is not budging. And this is what it is. There is like certain level of rigidity. And you might actually point out, you might also win through kind of like this whole sense of feeling. There is like this healing also that is really happening through that emotional healing of some sort. Maybe you feel that you're holding a grudge, or there are like issues, and you're setting up a new system, new routine, new protocol that is somehow setting you free. So if you run into this, let's say, hole, if you trip and you find yourself that you are resenting, or you're feeling guilty, or feeling literally jealous, then I would really not feel completely discouraged, because it looks like it's just temporary kind of like thing, in order for you to really realize what are your true needs and what are your true desires. So as soon as you put things somehow in order, and as soon as you kind of like organize yourself, things are going to start moving forward. So this may be a process that's going to last for the next couple of weeks, that's for sure. So let's go Cancer. Cancer. And guess what, guys? It was snowing in Toronto. Snowing. It is May the 9th. Tiger Eye just came, and it didn't make me happy that my car is telling me the transmission issues are there. So it's like, oh no, that will be very expensive. And then the snow. So just consider yourself lucky if you guys don't have a snow in the middle of May. So, Cancer. 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 It's 7 of Wands. It's just as, it's cannot be up or down. It's kind of like weird. It was like right in the middle. That didn't happen in a long time. But then you've got Temperance over here as the last one, right? So 7 is basically the card that rules you in tarot, and there is like very spiritual card. So we have 2 7s here in Temperance as well. Technically it's 2 times 7. So, and then we have a 2 over here. So there's like something that you're going to be really pulling in. You're going to be a little bit introverted. Maybe other people are having certain demands of you. They want you to do something, and you're feeling, you know what, I just really need to tone down. I just cannot do lots of things. I really need to kind of like go in and kind of like really see what is needed. In this particular card, this guy is basically just shifting and pushing away naysayers, or people who are saying you're wrong, you have to do things differently. There's like no such things. So Justice, they're like, it's a karma card for sure. Something is happening for you. There is like a certain shift that is happening, and because it's kind of like leveled, it's going to probably affect you on both ends. You're going to benefit out of everything that you did, and you're going to be, let's call it, punished for everything that you didn't do well. But this to me almost sounds like a clean slate. It sounds like there's like something happening, guys, to give you ability, to give you tools to push yourself further, push yourself forward, to trust yourself, to immerse yourself in something else, because Temperance is really a promising card. In this deck is a little bit different. Usually you will see a volcano here in the background, and volcano exploding, or kind of like giving you this impression. But here we have a crown, and the crown is glowing. So it is saying, look, the angel is turning basically his back to the crown. It is not about the money. It is not about anything but because of, it's all about the spirituality. We can also see his third eye is glowing over here, right? So there is like this clear element of fire that is happening. He also has the red wings. So what is really happening here, the meaning behind this is that anything can merge, water and fire. They're like completely different circumstances. Also, in this particular deck, he actually has one foot in the water and one on top of it, unlike, for example, Star card, when she's actually really walking on water. But there is like this pathway here. There's like something behind that maybe you're leaving behind. There's like something that has been extremely precious and extremely important to you at some time, at some point in time. It was very, very important. Some of you, and I don't know, like, I mean, how much you can deal with justice system, at least in Ontario, everything is still closed. I think they're saying it's going to be closed until September, maybe even further. It's kind of like really weird, like, I mean, looking out and nothing is technically working. But you guys are literally going through spiritual renaissance. There's like something really applicable in that respect happening. So let's see, what do we see as a clarification? We have an officer, and again we have the third eye. It's called constancy over here, right? So officer is somebody who's holding secrets, and like, you guys clearly are secretive sign, right? You are not going to open everything. You're vulnerable. You really want to test people before you really give them your heart, right? So this kind of like really reminds me of this card as well. Maybe you are going to defend yourself legally. Maybe you're going to send some kind of letters. Maybe you're going to receive some kind of letters. The universe is clearly watching you guys. You need to do the right thing. This is like, I mean, about some kind of like stability. Stability is extremely important for you. So you might feel a bit rattled with everything that is happening this week, because lots of things will be happening. You will try to kind of like maintain a status quo, and you're not going to be allowed. As I said, in spite of like all this slowness everywhere in the world, it's going to be lots of things happening. Just maintain your firm ground and do the right thing, because things are going to really work well for you if you do the right thing. If you try to be selfish, if you try to be self-serving, things are not going to work well for you. And this is why this justice kind of like came through this way. So Cancers, buckle up. It's going to be really, really interesting. So let's continue. The next one will be Leo. So Leo. All right, so Leos, let's see what is there for you. And you already have a Knight of Swords. You're feeling really encouraged. You're going towards some new goals. You're going in a completely new direction. Look at that speed. Look at that mane. Look at the tree. It is all kind of like bending in some kind of like speed. There's like something when the sword is really, really high, that you're like working, you're on the go towards something. Like, there's also kind of like element of dreaming. What is it you want? You need to define what you want. To me, always the curious one is like when people have so many options, and instead of picking 1 or 2 or 3 or 6, oh, they have to figure out what is this one. You know, so this is again saying, don't ask for, you know, for the bread over the cake, or the vice versa kind of a thing. It just kind of like figure out the issues that you have, and figure out like the blessings that you have. So this is kind of like talking about victories and powers and gifts and real estate or people, or simply kind of like having the ability to kind of like really have that social, I guess, if you want, power over I guess it can be social influencer if you really wish. But there's like something, I don't know if you're meeting somebody over social media, which kind of like can indicate as well, but this is clearly talking about moving forward in some kind of direction. So this is really interesting. The 7 of Swords. Taurus got that, right? A fixed sign, I believe. Was it a Taurus or Gemini? 7 of Swords, I don't like it, but they are 2 7s, so they have a little bit different meaning, right? So this one is, again, is explained to you, like you kind of like really know, you need to know what you want, and you have to figure out if you're always going to be lured into wanting something that is hidden or maybe not existing. You'll be always missing things that are already existing, that are always very, very awesome, right? I'm feeling tiger bear bark any moment. I don't know why. It just kind of like jump at me, that a bark in my head. In 7 of Swords, there is like this dude who is leaving this tent. It kind of like looks like wee hours in the morning. So he is grabbing all the swords. Why didn't he grab these? I don't know. Another thing that is really weird is like he's holding the swords by the blade. So that's not the best way to hold these swords. But it's almost like I'm making me wonder, is he maybe taking something that is his, that he had to go and retrieve of some sort? Did somebody taken something away from you? or is somebody not completely entirely honest? So that's going to be really interesting now when we clarify. And 2 sevens are again pointing out in some kind of like spirituality. There is like something that is happening right now, guys, that is going to start to culminate toward the end of the year. I mean, I'm really talking late November and December. There are going to be more clarity. There's like something that you're setting up in process, some kind of like higher wishes and higher desires. So be very close to your creator or universe, meditation, because that's going to start guiding you in a proper direction. And it's like really clear message that this is really important, right? So who is this? Barbie, this is, we are talking about Leo right now. Sorry. And so we have falseness, journey, and a baby. Why is the falseness here? See the snake? And then we have the snake here. Well, a snake can indicate certainly that there's like somebody doing things behind your back, but look at in this situation, snake is like really forceful, and it's kind of having this battle with the freaking with a cat. And I'm so glad that, so now the question is which one is false, the snake or the cat, right? But since we have two snakes over here, I have to go with that. It's really interesting because in the Eastern philosophy, snakes are very positive, and snakes are called mini dragons, and dragon is their like universal sign. I also feel here that this really connects to the Seven of Swords, right? And there is like you almost like have a detector for people doing crappy things or lying or something like this, because there is this journey, there's like some essence of moving forward. So what did I say? Did I say end of the year? I did say end of the year, and I'm seeing this again. So 9 months from now is what? It's going to be somewhere, I think we're talking late November all the way to February. There's like something really new moving. Something is going in a completely amazing direction. But there is also the issue that has to be resolved. So who is this who is almost like stopping you of moving forward? This is really telling me about some kind of betrayal. It's taking me about deception of the worst kind and lies or corruption of some sort. Somebody who is faked, or you know, the snake could be also be kind of like somebody two-faced, something negative. Was somebody trying to cover a lie or mistake, or have you been lying to yourself, right? It's kind of like really important to kind of like see that, right? So when I see this combination, I really think it's telling me that you need to be aware that things may not be as they seem on the surface, right? And I think you're going to really clue that in, that there's like somebody not genuine, not sincere, right? It's going to be some kind of like sense of wickedness or the lure or false flattery or some kind of like double dealing. So there is like something that is moving forward in a very positive direction, because like look at this thing of moving forward. We have this Knight of Swords who is going in this direction, then we have the journey that is going in that direction. So maybe, you know, you have been battling something from your past and put somebody on a pedestal who maybe kind of like simply betrayed you. Something hasn't been right, or that relationship was not meant to last. Or this can also talk about if you're forming a new relationship right now, that maybe this is not meant to last, and that could be also some kind of lies and opportunist feeling among family and friends. But when the baby comes last, this also tells me there is some process that's usually 9 months before the baby kind of like comes out, right? 7 to 9 months sort of a thing. So I would really realize, if I were you, that in this week you're putting lots of seeds, but you still need to proceed with caution with people and situations. and you need to anticipate that things might not be as they appear. That maybe, it's going to be really time that you need to quickly just get up and kind of like leave, right? This also, I really have to tell you, could mean that you guys are getting pregnant, and this is something you didn't expect. Or you might really quickly end up in a relationship which kind of ends up with pregnancy, which is going to have basically a whole bunch of different circumstances. But at the same time, this card and this kind of a combination would also indicate, let's say, long-lasting and fulfilling and happy marriage, right? This also can talk about a new job and new successful initiatives. So it's going to be really interesting because this is a really big message that has so many layers, both positive and negative. So I would really like to hear from Leos and to see what basically you guys have to say, right? And just go over this. So let's go. Virgo. Virgo, you're next. So let's see what we have for Virgo. Oh, let's go with this one. Virgo. Virgo. Holy moly, something really wanting to fly all the way there. And this one. So Virgo, it's going to be really easy. You have the moon and you have the world. I don't really think I need a third card. I have like 2 major arcanas. It's going to be a huge week for you. Huge. Again, we are going from the darkness to the light. There is like a shift in destiny. I don't know if you're dealing with Pisces, with Aquarius, with Scorpio, Taurus, or Leo. Clearly, this year you're going to have 4 distinct phases. One phase already happened in the beginning of the year, like somewhere, during the Aquarius transition. Another phase is happening right now during the Taurus transition. Then you can also anticipate end of July and August during Leo transition, and lastly end of October and November. So there are certain phases that are actually catapulting you to the next level. It feels to me that some of you felt that you're trying to stabilize yourself, that you're trying to build yourself, build your life, build your who you are, have this path that you're really clear that you really want to be on. It feels to me that you doubt the processes and everything else, right? And it's really, really weird. But when the world shows up in the upright situation, it's one of my half karma cards, and the only reason I call it half is something is happening right now. You guys shedding darkness, you're shedding bad things, you're shedding confusion, and you're moving forward. Karma is shifting. So maybe you have been repeating certain processes, maybe you have been having issues that keep going and ongoing with certain negativity, and every single time you thought you resolved it, it somehow would replay in a different thing. I call it sometimes meeting the same person in a different body, and they also in addition present different challenges, and it's going to finally stop. You're going to do something that is no longer going to be a negative cycle. So let me see. Good morning, Saint Gerard. What is this? Look at this. You have a constancy, you have money, and you have hope. Well, this is not bad, right? Holy moly. You are really reaffirming who you are in different categories of life. You're seeing a vision, you're envisioning where you are in the future, and you'll be going toward that, right? Money is really important for you. And this also card to me talks about secrets. It can talk about certain things. It's not only money per se, but what money can represent to us, right? Because money is one of those things that can, to some people, also express their own value, or value in a sense how the person really deal with people, what are their values. And it's really interesting here. Hope, that is again very much Aquarian thing. She's throwing the roses over there, there is the anchor that she's holding in her own hands. There's some kind of decision. So I think, guys, you might be inheriting something. There's certain level of luck and success and prosperity. This is a really good fortune, and I would say especially financial good fortune and well-being. the source of wealth, it's coming, I would say, from family. It can be from lottery winning, or it can be also from business sources, right? It's also basically predicting that you're going to be going in a saving mode, right? Because you are like simply, it's a cyclical nature. You're just realizing, hey, you know what, like I'm in a better kind of like save for the rainy days. It is also kind of like really good for unions, and it's really good for marriages, which is saying that people will kind of understand the value. You'll find somebody who is striving to the same things, like, you know, it's like not one partner wants a fast car that costs the same amount of the money as the house, but no, you'll be thinking about the same, right? Some of you might be applying for a loan and you will need more capital. Maybe you're like dealing with some kind of business, but in some case, if you felt that you haven't been financially secure, this is kind of like going in the time of abundance in a completely different phase. So this is going to be very, very important. I see we have a new people. Gregory, thank you for joining us. So that's a Libra. I guess you're just like our Barbie, the moderator, guys. A round of applause for my Barbie. She's like always doing this work and hovering over us, not to mention her super cute little icons. So the next one is Libra. Sip of coffee. I hope you guys are having a coffee as well. Oh, Barbie, you're in California? Or oh, no, it's San Gerard. I think Chris is in California. Anybody else is in California? So, Libra. Okay, Libra. Yes, Barbie. You know, like I'm not super bright. It takes me a while to figure things out. But you'll forgive me. It's just like I'm still working on my first coffee. That's all there is. Hi, Lorna. So, Libra, you have 7 of Cups, and then you have a 4 of Cups, which together makes 7, and 4 is 11. So there is like some issues about the healing. It's clearly emotions of some sort. I really think there is like some kind of like pent up energy that you guys have, where you felt that you were sitting and wasting your life away and hoping for something to arrive, for somebody to happen, or almost like a little boy, a little girl dreaming big dreams. And that didn't happen, right? And nothing wrong about it. This is like what basically helps your romantic nature. And kind of like you are not judging yourself harshly, which is usually your sign is represented with Justice card, and it is also about self-judging. It's also trying to always be in balance, being well put together, and that kind of sort of things. But it looks like you're like finally giving yourself a pat on the back. You're giving yourself a hug. You're saying to yourself, it's okay, I'll be okay. There is like a shift happening. So even though your card didn't really come through, but it's coming through this like subcontext over here, there's also the essence of you feeling that you have wasted lots of time, and there is a passage of time that you're like becoming really aware of, and you're saying to yourself, you know what, I did it before, I can do it again. I want to start all over again, and this time everybody and everything that comes in my way, it has to be done and organized on a proper grounds. There is like this Ace of Pentacles, which to me is my favorite ace. It's kind of like always talking about this long term. Look at that. It's not only the garden, but we see the mountain. So there is like this backing, and there is like something that is going on. You're maybe putting your financial kind of like health in the proper place. You're putting your emotional health in the proper place. But I really think you simply remove that, you know, pink rose glasses kind of like a filter, and you're seeing things as they are. But you are like almost like, instead of this pink filter, you're putting a green filter, and green filter is healing, where you're saying to yourself, just slow down, I can do it, and I will do it. It's actually really lovely to see that. It's a very, very healthy thing, right? So this is kind of like really, really interesting. Barbie, you're not going to be jealous after this week anymore. So look at that. Oh my gosh, can you believe this? Barbie, you're not going to be jealous after this week. And the jealousy card like returns back. So if there are no spirits of Libra, that I don't know what it is. There's a jealousy reversed over here. They're like this essence of, hey, I want to have all these nice things. Like there's going to be some complete shift, guys, over here that's going to be happening for you. Yes, that's you guys, especially if you are female. If you are male Libra, then you would be putting somebody on the pedestal. You'll be falling in love. But you're going to be very realistic kind of a thing. You're going to be seeing the real quality because, you know, she's leaning on this fence, which is something firm. It's something really solid, which kind of like really connects me to these pentacles. And if you're a woman, you are going to accept yourself no matter what. You're going to realize the beautiful things you're bringing to this world and what you can do. So this is really, really important to really understand and see. So Libra, it's going to be, I would not say eye-opening week, but it's going to be almost like you're going to really feel like a winner. You're going to feel that certain things are finally falling in place, that you are like not being hard on yourself, and you're not even allowing other people to be hard on you and have like some ridiculous expectations either. So the next one is Scorpio. So let me see, Scorpio, what comes for you? What comes for you? Lorna is also California. You don't know what crowded means. You should just come and live in Toronto and you should see what crowded means. Oh my god, you go out and walk and like people freaking everywhere. Even the spots that I knew there were hidden nooks where I would just go and walk tiger. People crawling everywhere. Scorpio. Scorpio. Hello, Marianne Knox. It's good to see you, sweetie. How are you doing? Okay. Scorpio. Scorpio. Ooh, this one turned around. There's Three of Swords that turn around. What's going on? Is there somebody who is messing with you, Scorpio? And there is the Emperor. Somebody, I think, took a sense of stability from you. You might have some kind of Aries in your own life. I also feel that you have been spied on. It's just really, really weird what is really happening. There is also shifts. It looks like this is the common denominator for all the signs. We're all having this big shift in the air. And this big shift is really affecting almost like our weakest link. We almost like need to face our own fears. Three of Swords is about betrayal. It's about a third party. It's about somebody else interfering in our life and telling us nonsensical things. And we need to realize that when this happens, that we are giving our power away instead of basically just seeing in our head that this person is ridiculous or crazy or lacking in emotional intelligence. You're giving this person a power, maybe because you are interested in this person, but the realization that why am I interested in this person if this person is so ridiculous is important. It's immediately kind of like what they call a paradigm shift. It's going to shift that interest that maybe you had. The Emperor is reverse, somebody who is stomping their feet and they want certain things and they want it their way and they want it now and I want it and I want it and I want it, me. There's like somebody very, very selfish. Or you might be dealing with Aries, somebody who can be kind of like almost like a jerk, right? You guys are also kind of like needing to stabilize yourself, and it looks like this week is going to bring really considerate challenges. Consider like really quite a bit of them. There might be some kind of verbal, there could be some conversation. This also can represent the boss or somebody who is kind of like crude or cruel, or somebody who doesn't beat around the bush. And that could mean that somebody who's harboring resentment against you from one way or another, because there is like this shift that I see here for you as well, right? So we see Aquarius, we see you, Scorpio, which is here an eagle, and you know that you have several representations, eagle and phoenix and Scorpio, also a fish basically. And then there is like Taurus, and there is a Leo over here. So you might be dealing with these fixed signs. If you do have these fixed signs around you, look for those people. They will be able to give you clues and hints, or even guide you in the direction where you need to go. These people will help stabilize, and these people will help you come and rebuild that core that looks like somebody was really eating from inside, and you are allowing that to happen. The question is why. And this might also be the issues with the children that I see this week, that might be just too much to handle of some sort. So let me just clarify these 3 reverse cards. And I'm sorry, Barbie, I will do the doors next. I know that I saw it before, I just completely forgot it. So let me just do this. So you have misfortune, you have money, and you have fidelity. Maybe there are issues happening at work. Maybe you're losing your job, or maybe your salary has been cut significantly. But this is still telling you to not to despair and to continue, right? Because look, it's going actually in a good direction. You need to understand that, like, I mean, looks like that some of you have some money stashed. And again, it's the money, but it says some money, right? It's not a massive amount. It's just like something. So this is really telling you, look, you right now shouldn't be focusing on quote unquote disaster, because it isn't a disaster. You're making a too big deal out of it. It's almost like today I was talking to my mechanic and I said to him, oh, I got the message on my car, transmission system, oh, I don't know what it was like. I mean, like, it needs to kind of like be checked. And I was like panicking, that the transmission needs to be changed, this is going to be so freaking expensive. He basically said, look, why are you panicking? I am closed today, but don't drive your car for today. Come on Monday and we will see. And he said, I'm pretty sure you'll be just driving right out. Nothing will happen. Funny, like, I finish this conversation, I walk tiger, I go back in the car, and the message doesn't show anymore, which is still meaning something will happen. In your case, there is like here this dying loyalty. And this is this dying fidelity, right, of some sort. So you are adhering to something that is not fruitful for you. This could mean that, let's say you lose your job and you're despairing about it. Well, this is because of the money, of course, but there is like something that is going to be happening so much better out of it. But it's going to be this period of mourning. Remember, you guys are phoenix, you guys are eagle, you can soar, you can see the heights, you can see different perspectives, and that's basically what your week should look like, that you're spending time on that and reconfiguring, I guess, your budget, reconfiguring which is new direction. You're like this ultimate survivor, ultimate person who is going and able to go in a completely new direction. So you need to start being really positive, because the situation is going to be a birth of something extremely, extremely good. And I didn't forget this time, Barbie wants me to do the cards. And so we're going to pick a card, guys. I'm going to close this so I can shuffle cards without you seeing what kind of like jumps out. There we go. So what deck do I ask for? Which deck do I do? So you know what, let's do the cleaning on these decks as well. Guess what, I'm going to grab the chakra deck. So it's going to almost give you a little bit of information about these cards. So let's go. Ask for the left door, center door, and the right door. Center and right. So are you guys ready? Okay, let me unlock this and go back to the other part. So there we go. So if you guys have chosen the door number 1, we got here instinct. It's really interesting because this is talking about wolf and spending this time in the nature and just climbing these rocks, right? But the wolves are always kind of like looking for the higher ground, right? It's almost like Oprah once said, when you run a marathon, don't turn around because it's only slowing you down. The people behind you are slowing you down. Don't worry about what's happening to them. Just focus on your own goals. So the answer over here is telling me that your journey is guided, that you really need to be able to listen to everything that is happening. You'll be getting signs. You need to look forward. You shouldn't be looking backward. You also need to let go of something and move on. You need to trust yourself. This is going to be a solitary journey, right? And it's going to be led by spirit, by God. So you need to follow your instinct, and you need to listen to your instinct and to your guides. This is some kind of like awakening. This is the full moon, and something over here. So the answer is neither yes nor no. It's not maybe. None of that. This is like one of those unique kind of like interpretations where don't be driven by what you want. Be driven and focus on what is the best for you, and the messages will be happening. Messages will be coming to you. Then we have door number 2, vanity. So this is talking about is God showing up at a party, and they simply thought this is like a party entertainment, and they're telling him, can you give me a bigger house? I want a bigger car. I want more, right? So he's realizing these people are just, self-indulged, right? This is just like simply not possible to do that, right? So, he is basically telling them, why don't we do kind of like, with things that we have, right? And he is like making rain starts, and the rain is almost like flooding, right? And he's just testing these people, as you can see it there. And then some of the people start panicking and start screaming, while the other just simply start playing in the rain, right? And so that was basically the message. You have to do well with what you have. So as they begin to have fun in the water, the rain stops. So it is kind of like, hey, what you might not get what you want, but you will get what you need, and what you need might turn out to be what you want. So it kind of like can come the full circle, right? So this really tells me that there is some kind of disconnect in your life, that maybe your question was about relationship, and you're not realizing this is a limiting relationship. There's like some kind of like a level of illusion, and it's going to be almost like a grounding experience, that you're going to realize, yes, I'm going to be okay. And it's going to be about some kind of transformation. You're going to realize that certain people are just simply empty, and that you have empty conversations. And it's going to be just waking up from that illusion, and kind of like really like almost like water is signalizing rebirth as well, if you wish, right? So don't kind of like, as I said, wish for the things, wish for I have to have it, because that's what we usually do when we wish. We are kind of selfish, right? But this is really telling you something will occur that is going to set you on a completely different path. So that's very, very interesting. Yes, my transmission is transitioning. That's exactly what it was. It's like, oh my gosh, it's going to save me from stuff, from huge amount of money in pandemic. It's not fun. And the door number 3, you got killed. So what do we see here? We see this angel, right? Doing the house chore, and she seems to be chain over here. And then we see her friend, and if you kind of like really zoom in closer, you're going to see that this bottle in front of her says basically vodka. So there is a story over here, because there is like a person who owns this apartment, small place, and she's truly a saint. She always helps, and she always puts her needs aside, and puts her happiness aside in order to help others, right? She would come home tired, but the phone would ring, and somebody would need something, and she would just get up and go and help them, right? So she also came up with a system that all of these friends who are just dropping by and they're using her home just to be freeloaders, right? So she quote unquote involves them in a business, right? And in order just to motivate them, to make them feel good about themselves. So the latest friend that just moved in, the one who is drinking vodka, one day she comes to her and she says, hey, you know what? I'm going to dissolve our company and I'm going to split the profits. So this woman kind of like looks at her and she says, you're going to dissolve my company and we are going to share the profits? You know what? You never did anything. You never did any work. You have been just using and taking, and I have been trying to kind of like show you the way, but kindness really didn't remedy you. So I am going to just give you as much as you worked, and you worked nothing. So this is kind of like, don't do for others kind of like things that you wouldn't do for yourself. You really need to reposition this whole question and ask yourself if this is nourishing for you, or you'll be giving something up or giving something away to people who don't deserve you. There's also some kind of guilt that I'm feeling, or fear of being disliked. You know, that's when people don't really speak truly because they feel and anticipate they're going to lose something. So do not give away too much time or energy, and then resenting it, right? If you're angry, you have to see if that's really guilt or why you're feeling angry. This is almost like my transmission message. It's like I'm in check engine message that really tells you, hey, you know, you need to fix certain things. So this is going to be about this awareness. It's going to be about self-care, and it's going to be about you finding your personal power. So guys, all of you are getting very, very deep messages over here. So it's going to be really, really interesting. So let me see what Lorna is saying. I had to go to my office and there are still many cars on the highway. Well, you know what? It is like 100 miles or 160, just 155 kilometers from me going down to Niagara to see my dad. It usually takes me an hour and a half, even though I usually drive fast, but not too fast. Guess how long it took me 2 days ago? 47 minutes. Okay, I was driving very, very fast, but it was a freaking pleasure. It's a good thing the transition message didn't happen then, because it would really freak me out, because I was driving 170, 180, which is a good enough if the cop stopped me to just take me off the road and take my car and all of that stuff. So that wouldn't be fun. So the next one is Sagittarius. Sagittarius. Okay. What's this? What's on the bottom? So let's see, Sagittarius, what do we see for you here? Hello, 123 Janice. Hello. Can you guys click on the likes? I'm just seeing less likes, so I guess somebody really doesn't like me, but you know, I guess you cannot be liked by everybody. This is all okay. I do understand. But if you didn't click and if you're liking, just do click. So you have you. This is Knight of Wands, and you have a Seven of Swords. There's like some sense of motion. There's like some sense of, I don't know, are you guys moving? Oh my gosh, you would not believe how windy and dark. Oh my gosh, that's a freaking snow. It's like falling this way. It's crazy. It's a snow squall outside. Did you see how dark it just got suddenly? Can you hear it? Can you hear this? It's like swirling wind. Boy, we just got home in time. So this is you guys. Knight of Wands represents Sagittarius. It's always talking about some kind of motion. You guys technically like to do stuff. If you're stagnating, you start feeling very, very unhappy. This is kind of like pursuing your interests, doing things, acting with yourself. This is also telling me there is like some level of clarity over here. Seven of Swords, when it reverses, is to me always representing aha moment, right? It is kind of like you get something you get. Or it could be that you're bringing yourself to something, or somebody is expecting this of you, right? Because the Three of Wands is this card about ships. It's kind of like kind of like sorting people in the groups, like you're my friend, you're my lover, you're my husband, partnership, relationship, friendship of some sort. There is like a significant move forward. Can you hear this? Significant move forward over here, right? And I don't know. I really like that, because you guys start feeling such a big stagnation for such a long time. Where is my Kylie? She's not here today. I would like to see what she says. Like, oh my gosh, Kylie is such a wonderful lady as well, from Australia. What, cops are allergic to the freaking snow? Oh my god. So 7 and 3 is 10. There is like, I mean, ending and a new beginning. There is like a huge shift that is happening. And for some reason, I really feel that shift is happening inside of you. So this is really, really, really important over here. Like you kind of like jumping back in the action. Look at this, a lover. So there is like if you're a man, that could mean you're kind of like feeling a little bit different about, I guess, maybe your love escapades. But if you're a woman, there's like somebody showing up. Be very careful. It came reversed. If this lover is exactly as they represent themselves, right, for one reason or another. So this is really important to kind of like really see. And then you also have, you have a lover, you have love, and you have hope. I don't know, guys, have you not trusted yourself in a while? Or are you dealing with Aquarius? Are you dealing with the fire, especially if you're dealing with a fire sign or with an air sign? I'm just like seeing a connection over here. Some of you, some minor part of you would be also dealing with water. But there is like this essence of, look at there, like roses and hearts that are connecting. I don't know if you guys are, this also can talk about dating now when I think about it. You might be simply falling in love, or if some of you have been dealing and going through a dark period, and the dark period was never seeming to be ending, never seemed for something new to happen, it almost looks like you're feeling that you just have been, like, I mean, clean and reborn, and something new is really happening, like you are again falling in love. I don't know, guys, like I kind of like do see vacationing, or I see something close to the water over here, right? So we see the water and water over here, and we see the hills and hills over here, which is kind of like really interesting. This really tells me that there is like some kind of clarity that has been completely reached in your mind. There is like, maybe it was a tug of war, a situation that you had, which was always like he said, she said, or she said, she said, or he said, some sort of a thing, who is right, who is wrong. But all of a sudden you're realizing the healing power of love, and something that can actually push you in a new direction. So you're feeling really hopeful, like there is like this life blood and love blood circulating around, and that's why you're back on the horse. That's why like there are like some kind of like completely new developments. This is going to be absolutely lovely week for you guys. I really have to tell you this. I mean, love is a nice card, but hope is so much better, because without hope there is no love, and you got them both. So absolutely lovely. Capricorn, let's see, Capricorn, what we can see here for you. Capricorn, hygienist. Scorpio moon energy can be very difficult. It's generally good, and this is why the readings are as they are. They're all shifting us into some transition, but some people need to get out into the shift with kicking and screaming. Like we as a society are shifting. That's why this whole freaking pandemic happened, because something needed to be changed, and we needed to respect our freedoms. We needed to respect who we are, right? So, and the Scorpio energy is the one that really goes in every single, it's under microscope in every single bit. You can't escape it, right? So we'll see. So Capricorn, you have 8 of Cups, you have Ace of Pentacles. Holy moly. What? Are you walking away, or you are arriving? Like almost looks like you're walking away from some kind of situation. And that situation was not that bad. It was okay. The situation was okay. But nonetheless, you felt you can do so much better. You felt you can go higher. You know, like having Capricorn, the goats, they always climb very high, and on a very, very steep things, you're very, very ambitious as well. To me, these two aces not only are signifying a new beginning. Look at this, 8, 9, 10. So the 1 and 0 is like 1 energy, and then we also have 1 and 1 energy. So maybe some of you are walking away from your work. Maybe some of you are actually moving into something more productive, something that you really feel is close to your heart. But this can also talk about relationship. That's something you feel that you need to explore. This card is not necessarily about letting somebody go or somebody letting you go. This card is just saying, look, all my cups are full. All of them are here. But I need to look that ninth one. I need to find that ninth one. And only when I find it, when I have the whole set, will I know if already I had something that I wanted or I need to go into something else. So there is like this card of owing to yourself, to look for the better, to strive for the better, to look for the quality, I would say. These two cards together, these two aces, are basically guaranteeing success. Both of them, look at them, like it's coming from out of nowhere. Things will be happening for you this week only if you let go of attachment to someone or to something. And things are all of a sudden moving in a completely new direction. So this card is more or less about seed of the promising emotional life. And this is a seed of the promise of being grounded with your earth sign. But when they are together, this talks about there's like something that is conceptualized on a really good level. It's not only that something looks good on the paper, but you guys are also liking each other. They're like both things happening at the same time, and like nothing is really missing. What was missing is that you have been inactive, or you have been dealing with some past issues, or maybe you have been involved in a relationship that was going nowhere, or it was not satisfactory, and now you're letting go and somebody else can walk in. So keep this in mind. So let me see this 8 of Cups, what's going on over here. Letter, love letter, because there are like lots of roses, and it may be kind of like making a piece of some sort. It could be a text message as well. Yeah, it could be a text message, and you have a falseness, and again it's like a snake and a cat over here. And I really think what is really happening here is simply something is going to click. You're going to be reading something or looking at something. It can be some kind of text, or it could be something unrelated on the direct communication. And you're going to get these messages because this week everybody's getting messages, and this is shifting you in a completely new direction. You're starting pretty much all over. And it's going to be really good because you're not going to tolerate this falseness. You're not going to tolerate any kind of deception, and you're going to feel that you have settled for something and you don't want to settle anymore. It's just like you have enough. It's just kind of like forget it, kind of like attitude that you have this week. Okay, a sip of coffee, and we have 2 more. It was actually water. So let's do this. Aquarius. Aquarius, when the moon is in the 7th house. All right, Aquarius. Let's see. Aquarius. 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 Okay, now we have the sunshine. Okay, it is the 5 of Swords reversed. It's a King of Swords reversed, and this one wanted to come out. So there are 3 reversals for Aquarians. The 5 of Swords, the reversal. Well, first of all, let's talk about what this card is all about. There is like this dude. He is winner, clearly, of the situation. There's like 2 people around who have laid down their swords. So the fight is over. And there is a clear defeat that you see it here. But here it tells me that, and especially because we have like these 2 air, that maybe we Aquarians have been fighting a battle that was useless, that was nonsensical, because who is King of Swords? Where is my little prop? King of Swords is this dude. Angry, rebellious, at any freaking cost, right? It just kind of like never stops. It's always some trigger. It's always something that provokes. I have a neighbor like that. It's always freaking something. This is like a huge amount of low emotional intelligence, low social skills. It's just like kind of winning at any cost, right? It's going to be something that is going to be putting us in a very precarious situation. We will not be shining this week, let me put it that way. There are going to be things that we really need to do. There's like some sense of trusting in ourselves and hoping about ourselves. We are doing the talking, but we are not doing the walking. For one reason or another, this is also telling me there's like something about the father or a boss or ancestor that is really coming into place. And there's like going to be a message that we will receive. It's going to be very clear about us possibly going along about the things the wrong way. It is going to be almost, it's kind of weird. It's a very different message from the other messages that I've got for the other sides for this week, because everything was like about transformation, transition, but here it is like about, why aren't you trusting yourself? What happened? Instead of like trusting yourself and being this highly optimistic sign, why did you turn into that grumpy old man or a grumpy old woman? There's like, almost like a stern warning that we really need that shift, and that shift needs to happen, that we need to trust ourselves, that we need to appreciate ourselves, and that we have to just simply stop fighting, because fighting involves exchange of energy, and we need to guard that energy, right? On the other hand, where energy needs to be kind of like released and engaged with, we are just saying we did it, but we really didn't do it. And again, we are losing faith in ourselves, because we are really not doing things that we knew that we should be doing and we will feel better. That can apply to anything, that we are not exercising enough, that we are not eating properly, that we are kind of like a little bit lazy at work, we are a little bit lazy in maintaining home. But that's going to be lots of little kind of messages happening to us this week. It's going to be a big shift, but it's going to be almost like that somebody's going to hold a mirror to us, that we will really need to kind of like really look into who we truly are. Look, we have a love and officer, and how in the world I can marry these two cards. Well, this is officer over here. Maybe we need to love some order. Maybe we need to accept no matter what really happens. Officer is really strange card, because it talks about somebody who is like a soldier kind of a thing, right? Somebody is on guard, right? They're also kind of like holding secrets. He has his little sword over here, I guess, right? This can also talk about a hostility that we see over here, but can be also about a justice and investigation of some sort, right? This can be a police, dealing with the police guys, or dealing with the law, but it doesn't have to be really individual. It can also talk about suspicion and jealousy, some kind of protectiveness, right? And in business can talk about, a partner, or faithful partner, or trustworthy employee. Somebody's holding kind of like really things for us, right? But the other cards are not very positive, because kind of like we do have, love over here. Maybe we'll be dealing with somebody who is not giving us lots of confidence, or somebody who is very picky, or somebody who is not really trusting, and we feel kind of like personally is really affecting us. But I would just say that this is not a time to make big decisions. This is almost like a time to just be an observer. If we are faced with some kind of opposition, we need to kind of really seek to resolve conflicts before they escalate. So we really need to look up this week for those who can stand up for us and who can help us. And this is again one of those lessons. Do we really always help others and others just betray us when it's time for us? Or do we also have people who would do things for us when needed? So it's going to be one of those weeks where we will create our own army and really see who stays, who goes, because maybe we need to really get rid of some people who are just harmful. Maybe this really talks about somebody being abrasive and not helpful in your life, or somebody who is really talking about helping, and however they're always just spreading rumors or that kind of stuff. Because this is almost trusting your own heart and also keeping secrets. Don't be open book this week, because the Aquarians are really open book, right? That really happens. It's really important to regain that hope. It's really important to trust ourselves. But this doesn't mean that we have to not debate, but kind of like really announce this to the world, which we usually do. We are like Tom Cruise on that couch. I love her, I love her, I love her. And then everybody kind of shuts you down and cuts you down. That's not the way to go, guys. So keep that in mind. And just tread carefully. Pisces. Pisces, Pisces, Pisces. The last today. Because I was going in... Oh, it's not the last. Aries is last. Pisces. So, she's scared of Aquarians, but I hope more abundance comes to you. We are not that scary. We are just weirdos, and we have to find our own footing, and that's what happens. And the finding a footing is like when you find it, you always want to fight for justice, or you want to fight for what is right in mankind, and people don't understand it because people are selfish and they kind of look for their own safety, and they don't understand that somebody would just relinquish that. And that's why, you know, Aquarians can come across as very forceful, which we can be at times. So, Pisces, you have Wheel of Fortune, which is coming sideways, which is a karma card. And then you have a Nine of Swords, and then you have a Nine of Cups. So what's going on, Pisces, over here? There is like an essence, like I think there is a loneliness, I would say, that is going on in a situation. And this is like why this is showing up here like a bridge. There's like certain level of stability. It's showing these fixed signs: Aquarius, Scorpio. It's actually Phoenix in this card. It's Leo and Taurus. They have wings. They also have books in this card, right? There's like some learning that is really taking place. You guys are feeling a little bit stuck in the darkness. Maybe there's gossips, maybe there are rumors, maybe you're just hoping for somebody to come through, maybe there was a breakup. This is not a good situation to be. I call this like a wash machine brain, where you just keep swirling the same things and you're not able to find a way out. You cannot even talk to anybody because people are just tired of the same old. Like they're like really time to make changes, but you're not emotionally entirely ready. This is like Nine of Cups is really showing up. You are finding that you really need emotional support in order for you to even able to move forward. So this really card tells me there's like some kind of stagnation. So there you go. It's not only up and right that I'm interpreting. I'm actually interpreting them sideways as well. And so I really think that there is also motion forward, but for you it's going to be very kind of scary. You're going to take one small step forward and go back and forth. You're going to be that little fish kind of like really going in the water, and somebody throws the pebble in and kind of like really running away. So it's going to be lots of emotional engagement, but your mind will going to trigger so many things that are happening, and it's going to be really difficult to kind of like maintain your sense of peace, right? But at the same time, it's going to be lots of decisions that are happening, lots of things that are happening that are really product of your inner world. So you really need to keep that in mind, right? So what do you have here? You have anger and hope and gift. Well, anger and hope and gift, it's almost like that they're identical over here. So it is again telling you need to trust yourself. So you know that, but you're not doing it. So why is that? You're kind of like really expecting that somebody resolves the situation for you, right? So gift is like this still weird thing. We don't really know what it is. Sometimes really, really beautifully wrapped packages are really nothing inside. I worked for one company that was doing the custom framing thing. I was working as a manager back there, and it was a basically Christmas thing, and they had one day we showed up at work, and I had these like big freaking boxes and the beautiful wrappings, and then they lined us up and they were giving us these big boxes, and I just really didn't want to open it because it was so beautiful, like I mean a spectacular level of expertise, right? And I'm glad I didn't open because few people did open. And what they were doing, they were just getting rid of surplus of the crap, and they just like put it in a big carton box and wrap it nicely. But inside was nothing but crap. So it was more meaningful to basically just be in this wrapping because it just looked beautiful and it looked presentable. So sometimes, you know what they say, don't look in the horse's mouth, right? What is the expression? Don't give the horses, don't. Ugh. Okay, I lost it. So it is kind of like something is going to come on the surface and it's not going to really make you happy, but you need to really take it even at the false value that it is, right? So whether this is a bribery or flattery or something or some sort. But this can also be that there's like something that is really amiss, something that is missing. It could be gifts exchanged between lovers, or it could be that promise of the happiness within reach, but they are still kind of like not knowing. But clearly like you're on some kind of like a path to some kind of like success, right? And still be cautious of the source of gifts or compliments. So don't put too much weight on them, right? But at the same time enjoy them, and that is going to be very, very important. So keep that in mind. And the last one is going to be Aries. Aries. Okay, one sip of water again. Aries. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. That's it. Because whatever it is a gift, but you will probably, my dear Pisces, look gift horse in the mouth. So, Aries. Let's see, what do we have for you? We have Two of Pentacles. We have Eight of Wands. So again, it's some kind of transition. Maybe like you're finding, like, I mean, you're walking this tightrope and the sun. Like, this is literally, to me, balance in life. And things just go up. And finally, you think you're kind of like heading somewhere. And then they just kind of fall behind. So it's going to be that kind of thing. The balls will be up in the air. You will really need to do that kind of like delicate kind of like dance with life. You will need to engage, but this is really good. It's going to make you feel alive. I don't know if you guys are dealing with some kind of Leos in your life or Scorpios, because I see both, possibly even Aquarius. But I am seeing, again, it's a motion forward. It's kind of like out of this balance, kind of like finding what is important to you. And I really think what is important for you is a sense of action. And it's also a sense of either expressing love or hearing love messages, because this card is also called love arrows. So it could be something that is like, I mean, long distance. It could be something that is kind of like delay of some sort, but this is like clearly some messages are coming through, good messages. You're almost like being rewarded. You're also having the sun reversed, which is almost like, I mean, it's also a very positive card when reversed, maybe even better because the sun is not blasting in your face, but it's something really more comfortable. This can also talk about a week that you'll be dealing with your children of some sort, and there's like them that they need support or some start, or that you're simply kind of like feeling very protective about your closest environment. There is really not much here to clarify. The sun is almost like the universal disinfectant. You're feeling healthy, you're feeling energized, you're feeling things are going in a really good direction, and you're also feeling that in spite of like wobbly kind of like sense of things kind of like not working or working, you're still moving it forward. You're still kind of like able to build it or rebuild it. So that's going to be very, very interesting. So lover, yeah, my gosh, somebody kind of like will express love, 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 but also somebody might be very jealous. So you might be receiving messages, or you might be giving messages to someone who might be otherwise engaged. That someone might have a child, could be a person with thing, but it could be that you are giving this message to somebody who is already involved, right? And or you might be accused that you are the jealous one of some sort, because I do see this love messages. So not sure if this is you giving these messages or somebody else giving you these messages, but I also think it could be even a proposal of some sort, or maybe somebody is really eager to do something like that, but then you're realizing, oh my gosh, you know, like, I mean, this is just not going well during the conversation. It is kind of interesting because actually everything that is being done is done out of deep emotions, but those deep emotions might not be reciprocated or not in the same way, the way they have been expressed. So this is going to be really interesting. Also be very careful, watch your back at work, because you might have jealous coworker or somebody who somehow feel that you have something that you do not deserve. So be careful, you know, weird things happen when people are kind of like pointing finger, there's this person, because of this person I'm not happy, whatever. How about you're not happy because of yourself, kind of a thing, right? Okay, so guys, you want to have another pick a card, so I guess that would make sense as well. So let's do it. I'm going to block it here. We can use the same cards. It's a little bit more comprehensive. And pick a card. Ask yourself a question and pick a card. So let's see. Question. Okay, card number 1. Question. Card number 2. And question. Card number 3. All right. Let's remove this. So guys, which card did you pick? Card number 1, card number 2, or card number 3? So if you pick number 1, we are getting workaholic card. And it's really interesting. I mean, the story really talks about the 2 blueberries, but I really have to say that I always seen this blueberry here more like a prune, and I'm going to stick to my story, not to the book what it says. So basically the old blueberry slash prune is talking to the young one and saying, look, you know, you're just painting and painting and painting the whole day. You are not paying attention that your youth is just going out of the window. You will be old and shriveled too one day. So live life to the fullest, right? So the young dude is taking that advice, and he's realizing that, you know what, they're like more like in life than art, and he has to kind of like really find what in life is valuable. So as far as this question, there is like something that I feel you want to complete before you move on to something else, instead of kind of like engaging in everything that you need. It's almost like you want some finish before you start, where this really needs to start earlier than that. So whatever the wish you asked, it has to have some precursors. Also, maybe you're hiding behind being busy, and that's maybe hiding you to kind of like really address the real issues, because there are like some kind of like almost real issues behind this question. There is like also something that you're avoiding to do, or there could be a sense of burnout or sense of inadequacy. you're not being fulfilled in one way or the other. So the solution here and the answer here is like, you really need to refresh your mind. You really need to be you need to improve your work. You have friends, you have talent, you need to have fun, and the answers and things are going to come to you, and you will reposition this question. So this is saying not even no, yes, or maybe, just like saying, how about you turn to yourself at this stage, because some transformation is going to happen where the shift is going to completely change your attitude toward this question. So the door number 2, you have soulmate. And there is like the card that really talks about realization of who is important, who is not important. Because sometimes we are stuck in what we want. Sometimes we defend and chase people away who actually are really good for us, who really love us. In this story, this dude wants to break up with this girl, and he already knows it's going to be a really kind of like, moment when he tells her that he doesn't love her anymore and he wants to leave her, and then she's going to cry, but he's done, he's free. So he basically tells her, and before he just finished that, she instead of attacking him, she says, but I love you so much. And he's stunned. She just kind of like put a wrench into his own system, kind of a thing, right? But what is even more stunning than is he is realizing that he was saying such hurtful things to someone, and seeing this basically tears in her eyes and these like big wide eyes with such a basically look in her soul, he's realizing, oh my God, it's me who is the coward. I'm leaving somebody who I actually love. So all of a sudden, he realizes that this freedom he wanted to be free is not really something that he actually wants after all, because he just cannot take the even thought of not being with her. So sometimes this tells me that this is a package deal. That if you're enjoying the beauty of the rose, sometimes you're going to get pricked. And the pain is never going to be something you will focus on. So you might be dealing with a relationship question over here, and there's like somebody who is soulmate, but it's also somebody who has lots of issues that you really need to deal with. This is about no longer living a lie and telling the truth and demanding the truth from the others, right? And it's not about choosing freedom, but it's about choosing love. And it's a love through transformation. It's going to be a very unexpected outcome over here. I really have to tell you. It's not going to be yes and no. It's not going to be maybe. It's going to be very unexpected, but you'll be very happy about it. And you're going to feel very authentic about it. And the last is, door number 3 is perseverance. The story here is really talking about this aspiring actress who got this beautiful cape or shawl from a famous actress. So she thought, oh, I hope this luck is going to rub off me, right? And she tried and tried and tried, but look at how many holes the shawl has. Moths have been eaten through it, and finally she's discarding it. Is just like saying, well, I tried, and things are just not really happening. But what she didn't know, and the great goddess told her, if you just persevere, the success was just around the corner. Sometimes it is crazy to continue if everything is telling you no, no, no. But here it is telling, look, something will materialize, something will happen, something is ahead. So do not get discouraged here, guys. You might be rejected, but do not take no for an answer over here, because this is about breakthrough. This is about somebody taking you for granted, and you need to overcome your own doubts in a situation, because this card really suggests miracles. So something really good will happen if you persist, if you do not buy into what other people tell that you should be feeling about you and for you. So this is really, really kind of like thing that you need to understand here. So there we are. I enjoyed my Saturday morning with you. We had sun, we had snow, we had such a beautiful, pleasant company. I want to thank all who have been here, and I hope you're going to join me next particular week. If you didn't click like, please do. I'm going to play a little bit music, send you lots of kisses, and we had a quietness. All the pets are sleeping. I guess they're enjoying sleepy time. You see how they know it? It's snowing outside. Let me sleep. And until the next week, guys, I hope you're going to enjoy yourself. Come back and check these messages and see how they are reflecting on you, with you. And I will be talking to you very, very soon. I love you and I wish you all the best. So take care. Can we play some music maybe? Okay, let's do this. Here, it's just the music stops. So guys, I wish you all the best. Have a Mother's Day. Love you. All the best.